What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the QQT Studios Liberation Kit for FansToys Ethereaon, or their version of Superion. So we did look at a kit for this figure before. That was the G1 Tune kit. Now we're looking at the Toy Deco kit. This one matches a lot closer with the original figures. And since I was getting those other QQT sets from the KK Barago car model store on AliExpress, I decided to ask them if they had this available, and sure enough, they sent it. Got here before the Chinese New Year, so happy to be able to make this video. So this set is a little bit older. It came out a while back. It's not one of the ones they did later on with the metallic looking paint job. So they look a little more dull compared to the original paint. Now they've got this filament that's got a metallic look to it. And I showed that in the FansToys Marauder review, their Menasor. It really matches up a lot better. But since we've got this, let's take a look at it. I just wanted to show you side by side with each of the parts. So here is Goose. And here is Iceman. You'll notice that the detail's missing on the knees. All right, and there are the arms, Viper and Jester. And these look similar. Still same, non-gloss, but the mold definitely captures the character. All right, and here's the back filler that replaces Maverick. And I actually already have a back filler. This is Jimmy H Customs. It's done so beautifully that I'll probably keep it, but I will show you what this looks like. It does have posable boosters back here, which I thought was interesting. So we'll put it in. I just wanted to show you that this back filler is probably the best. If you're interested, I'll put a link to this at the end of this video. All right, so let's start off with the legs here. And I did take apart all the combiner parts, which you'll need to do if you're going to do this. So this has actually an extra little bit here to plug into this, and then there's two holes here to plug in these. So get this slid on here, and then we'll plug these into the front and plug these into the side. That was pretty easy, actually. And let me do the other one. This one, it doesn't have that hole in the back. I wonder if that's meant to be there or not. All right, pretty easy. All right, next we'll put together the upper legs. So come to the back here, you're gonna open up this jet piece here. This will slide over the top. There's a groove that holds onto this. So get that slid as far forward as it'll go. Then we're going to bring this down, clap that in, and then tab that into the front. And then we'll come to the back, bring this down, and then bring this down, and bring that down. And then bring the jet nose cone back up. All right, we'll do the same thing on this one. Slide, actually we need a little space, so slide this over. Now this one's a little different because you have to get these around the outside. So I'll just show you. You can actually just take this part off and slide that in. And I'm not even sure if you're supposed to do this or not, but I just found that it was easier. Tab that in. Tab this into the front. I didn't have that slid all the way. And on the back, plug this in. And clip this to the sides. And then we can insert this back in here. All right, next we'll take care of the arms. Go ahead and get this slid. It's got the same thing. It's got a rail on the outside that's going to slide around this. And then close up the cover on the top. And the hand just basically slides onto this rail. And Just make sure you get it all the way in. It's pretty tight. All right, then we'll attach the other arm. And same thing, it's got a rail and a groove here, so just line that up. And it is a tight fit, so you want to make sure you have it exactly right. And then slide that down as far as it'll go. And then for the hand, it is also on a rail. So this will slide in like this. And you had to hook it. It's got a little hook on the end, so make sure you get it all the way hooked in there and then get the hand rotated. All right, and lastly, we're going to put in the back filler. Just make sure you have these opened up all the way. And you're going to slide this in. Should go all the way in and meet up here. And then we can close these back up. And that will hold the backpack piece in there. All right, there is the QQT Studios set for FansToys Ethereaon. And overall, I do think it looks pretty good. There is something about the finish on these that doesn't quite match up with the paint job on the FansToys. You know, it's like a glossy paint job, and the finish on this is more of a matte. There are some parts that are shiny, like down here, the silver, the black, but other parts are matte. But overall, it's a really good recreation of the parts. There's the arm. Here's the back. You can aim these booster parts, which is an interesting touch. The back is a little bit busy, but there is a shiny silver part right here. That looks good. The nose cones do kind of fold up and get out of the way. I did end up damaging this one because I pulled it too far back, and that's why they give you the extra one. So I kind of pulled this one apart, but this will fit right in here. So just be careful with this when you're dealing with it. Just pull it from here when you're pulling it off. You know, don't pull it from the top or from the bottom, I mean. But yeah, that cleans up pretty nicely back here. And overall, I think it looks pretty good. Articulation is unchanged from the original, but I do want to show how it works. I did end up, this part was actually separate, so this could slide off. It wasn't glued together, so I did glue the bottom part of this arm into the top part so it wouldn't come off. But articulation is the same, so I'm just going to go over it quickly. The shoulder joint moves up to there, lifts up to there. That still all works the same as the original joint. This one does rotate at a ratchet joint. This bends 90 degrees. That is all the same as before. Nothing has changed. Same with the hands, right? It still works exactly the same as before. I'm just demonstrating it so you can see that you basically get the identical articulation as you did before. Waist articulation is the same. Legs, you do have to move this out of the way. You do get the knee bend. You can get this more out of the way if you pull this out. It does sort of hinder him in this back pose. But that's why they give you this removable, extendable joint here. So yeah, pretty much everything else is identical as what it was before. It's not really any changes. All right, and for a sense of scale, there it is next to the FansToys Marauder, their version of Menasor. And this is the unmodified version without the QQT Studio set. Basically the same size, right? So this set does not change the height or the overall size of the figure. It is identical to how it was before. So final recommendations on the QQT Studios Toy Liberation Kit for FansToys Ethereaon. This one, it looks pretty good. There's a little bit of a mismatch on the coloring. I'll give this a 3 out of 5, a partial recommendation. Now, it does perform its function, right, which allows you to remove the limbs so you can display them in robot or alt mode. And it completes the combiner and it still functions. You get all the same articulation, all the same functionality and the same look as the original. But the coloring is a little bit off. I think the matte paint on this could have been improved. Now I'm planning to put a clear coat across these 3D printed parts in order to make it match a little bit better, give it a little bit of gloss to look better. On the later kits that we've gotten from QQT Studios, they used a more metallic PLA, and that matched a lot better with the FansToys paint. So I think if they were to redo this set, this is an older set, by the way. So if they were to redo this again today, they'd probably use that metallic, plastic. But every day, these 3D printed things are improving. And as far as function and the form of this, it works very well. I just think the finish could have been a little bit better. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks to KK Barago Car Model Store for sending this for review. And we'll see you next time.
TM Reviews. What's up, YouTube fans?